Alright everyone, hello and welcome to NEF1 Round 11 of Season 11. We are here in Italy, in Monza, for the final sprint of the season around the Temple of Speed. We are about to go over the starting grid with you very shortly. But as mentioned, it is the final sprint race and the second consecutive one in a row this season. And we have Holman on pole position. Luna previously in pole position last week and now emerging in 4th in the standings after a maximum 35 out of 35 points available to her after last week. Sorry, 35 out of 36 weeks after last time out. Incredible race from Luna that ended in her first sprint and Grand Prix victory in dominant fashion as well. Took the sprint race by about 17 seconds and the Grand Prix by about 10 or 11 seconds, if I am not mistaken. We're just going to be waiting for a minute or two on the starting grid for everyone to get their setups on before we get this race going. But it does promise to be an exciting one. A sprint race action around Italy, of all places, as well. Should be promising indeed. We're just going to go over the starting grid with you, and as you can see, Holman and Iwatts P1 and P2, followed by Mackers and Noah, Ray and Luna now. From P1 last week out to P6 on the grid here today. Squidge is starting in P7. He is equal on points with Matty Adam in P8. Tess leading the championship comfortably now. He is starting in P9. Mr. Wilco, P10 for the second week in a row, if I'm not mistaken. BT moves up to P11 on the grid, just missing out on that sprint pole position by, well, a couple of championship positions, quite a fair few points, though, between himself and Holman, who is sitting on the P10 slot in the championship. SSR Halo, strong debut to NEF1, have a couple of good races since, and he is starting in P12, followed by Octave and Lucas Hull. Wigan, difficult first half to the season. Can he rebound strong this time out in the second half? Wildcat, Darren and Kit make up the rear of the field. Kit still looking for his first points this season. We'll see if they can come here in the sprint tonight. I can confirm as well that now the ready up has been given. We are good to go for the sprint race of the Italian Grand Prix, which means we'll be going in about 30 seconds time. 9 laps worth of sprint around Monza. It'll be a very quick event. There's 9 laps, about 9 minutes as well, before we move on to a bit of a short break to get the lobby back set up, and then a 27 lap Grand Prix to the checkered flag and the Grand Prix victory. Always a promising and exciting race here around Monza in our league. Usually comes up with a safety car too as well, especially coming out of first chicane. Usually quite easy to spin it. Difficult corner to do a battle into, but we'll keep our eye then on Holman on provisional pole position, or on pole position, sorry, for this race. He is followed by Watt in P2, Mackers in P3. That'll be one to keep an eye on. Did very well a couple of weeks ago in Singapore. Now aiming to do well here once again. Noah as well, still looking for that first career NEF1 win. Might that come today? Well, he certainly got the opportunity. We can keep Ray and Luna behind him. Then we have Squidge and Madley battling for mainly P2 in the championship now. Tess might just be a little too far ahead. We'll wait and see. Say 33 BT just trying to get himself within contention for the top 10 by the end of the season, I'm quite sure. No mandatory pit stops for this race as well. Recommended medium tire to the checkered flag. As we're just going to get a couple of things up, get the track map up and get the position change up, then we should be good to go. Iwatts and Mackers appear to have had some sort of a collision with each other on the formation lap. That'll certainly not aid them in their warming up of the tyres, as Holman has selected to start on the hard tyres for a race like this. Is very conservative when it's all going to be on related to track position. As for Iwatts starting on the hard tyres, might not be too bad of a choice in P2 as Holman starts on the hards. We are expecting this race to be one big DRS drain. If Holman maintains the lead into the first couple of laps, then Iwat's going to be able to settle comfortably behind on his hard tyres that are just going to be a little bit better than the mediums from Marcus and Noah at the end of the race. A high dig circuit this every now and again, depending on the duration of the game. On this one I think it's relatively high dig, especially on that left hand side. You've got basically all right hand corners that are going to give you tyre wear at all around here. So keep an eye on the rear and front left tyres as Holman is approaching his grid slot then. See what he can do in terms of parking. Look pretty comfortable indeed. And now looking at the rear of the field, just waiting for Kit now to line himself up on the starting grid, and then we are set to get going for the Italian Grand Prix here in NEF1. So here we go then, waiting for the starting lights to go out. We have 5 red lights, and there we go, lights on, away we go, and Holman gets a decent getaway. Iwat is not able to match him. Marcus is coming up quickly behind him though, and you see the Aston Martin in the background just start making moves towards the inside. Luna has gotten a brilliant getaway up 2 positions as well. Is not an ideal line from Marcus, that who cuts the corner a little bit, gets stuck in the curb and flies over into the side of Noah by the look of things, and down 1 place. Luna, after a brilliant getaway, gets caught up in that as well, gets tangled up and now down into P8, down from P4 initially on that getaway. I believe Luna was at 1 point. Holman then controlling this race start from Iwat, and Noah just ended up about 1 second behind, but he's got those medium tires to start working with immediately. Halo's had a bad start. He's down 6 positions here initially. Luna down 3 positions. Tez up 1, Matty's up 1, Squidge is up 2. Crucially enough for the Ferrari on this occasion. He's just trying to do anything to get within touching distance of a second championship, but right now Testa has that in his grasp. As for Noah, what can he do on Iwat? Starting on the hard tyre, usually a risk, but Holman's made it pay off so far. Noah on the medium tyre though is going to be incredibly strong here in the early stages of this race. We can also see Kit's had a little bit of a weak start there as well. Tangled up, or it's not tangled up, caught up behind a B2, I believe, has come into the pit lane. A B2 once again suffering a bad start. It's not the first time this season, as here we go, the championship contenders, if you can call them that. Tess and Matty Adams side by side as Squidge is making moves around the curve grande on Macros and up P4. Here we go, is Matty going to do something into the chicane on Tess? Looks towards the outside, can't make it work. Tess controlling the line nicely then. Matty gets around him, but a dive bomb into the Lesmos usually doesn't go too well. So then the battle for the front remains Holman, Iwat and Noah. Squidge in P4 is going to be coming up on the scene relatively quickly. Tess and Matt will be disappointed that Marcus couldn't keep him behind any further, but Iwat is going to be there as a permanent roadblock for the Ferrari's progress. Keep in mind Red Bull right now in a very good position as for the Constructors' Championship, and Iwat's right now is doing a lot of lifting in the sprint races at least. Very consistent in this format. Doesn't put a foot wrong. So here we go then, DRS is enabled on this lap, and we are going to, or was enabled last lap actually, but now we are going to see how difficult it could be overtaking here. However, Iwat might just make it look easy on Holman. We'll see, down the inside into a track that suited him well before, and Iwat moves into the lead of the Grand Prix on lap 3 out of 9. Long way still to go, but Iwat takes the lead of the race then from Holman and Noah behind. Squidge in P4, however, could you perhaps sit vulnerable sitting in P1 this early on? We shall wait and see. Overtaking didn't look very easy, but relatively comfortable in the end for the Red Bull driver. So then Noah pushing hard at the back as well. Tess and Matty P7 and P8. So Matty's remain in P8. Tess has moved up 2 places on the start. Ray has moved down 1 place. That is to Squidge 2017 in his progress early on in this race. Looking at the big losers, we still have there very clearly SR Halo and a B2 with bad starts. and I believe Lucas Hall. 3 second time penalty, multiple warnings. We are seeing some movement. That little snake going down into the Parabolica, but no moves attempted yet. However, coming out of the Parabolica, and it looks like Noah might just have gone to run on Holman, who definitely has gone to run on Iwatts. Iwatts trying to weave a little bit, trying to shake that slipstream. Holman, is he going to send one down the inside? Yes, he is. Very, very late move. Very decisive, and it comes together a little bit with Iwatts coming out of turn 1 there, and that's the kind of move that is going to allow Squidge 2017 to get right up and involved in this. Now he takes one car. Is he maybe going to have a go at Iwatts as well? It's going to get feisty between the Ferrari and the Red Bull, but here is Squidge, and he is so good in these situations. It opened the door on him, makes a little bit of contact with Iwatts. That allows Noah to get through as well, but that is Squidge up into the lead of the Italian Grand Prix sprint race. That is brilliantly done. Holman and Iwatts down 2 positions in 1 corner, and Wildcat is out of this session after, you would imagine, that's relatively heavy contact with someone. As to who it was, I'm sure we'll wait and find out. No safety car. Don't know if a safety car can be called out in sprint race actually, but wow, that must have been some incident in a corner like that as well, to lose a wheel. Unfortunate then for Wildcat, who's running in a relatively good position as well. We'll see him back for the Grand Prix. The Squidge then, very, very good opening, a couple of laps up 6 positions, and took Holman and Iwatts scrapping away with each other, made the most of it. So they can see the McLaren down the inside of maybe the Mercedes into turn 1, just has a little look. Tries maybe a switchback maneuver, it's just a little bit too early on. It collides with the back of Mackers, that halts his progress. Test now on the back of the McLaren as well, but not near enough to even consider making a move in the next couple of corners. As for Ray, just can't get by Mackers in front. Iwatts now down into 4th place. Good news for McLaren in the Constructors' Championship battle. As for Luna, the reigning race winner in NEF1, took the win so dominantly twice over a week ago. Not having the best of race at the moment, sitting in 10th place and able to move forwards. But such is the nature of the sprint race, especially around a circuit like this where the DRS train is dominant. Iwatts then with a time penalty as well is going to massively set him back for the Grand Prix potentially. What is that penalty? It's got a 3-second for track limit violations. At the moment that would see him back in behind Luna, ahead of Tiger, Octave and P10. It's not ideal to get a penalty like that in a race like this. Very much not ideal, as here goes Matty Adam on test, just getting a little bit desperate. A little bit of contact there between the McLaren and Red Bull as well, but Tess able to hang on to the position in the end. Now Mr. Wilco might just have a little cheeky move on Matty Adam, doesn't quite get the run up the Curva Grande, and it is recharge time for all cars involved. For the little Lesmos to power up for the next DRS train. It's battery management Grand Prix this. As Squidge is broken away 1.1 seconds out in front. Noah sitting in P2 with Holman in 3rd. Progress right now not overly easy for Tess and Matty Adams, which got along significantly better. Tess has a little look down the inside of Ray, can't make it work, but gets a very, very good run coming out of Ascari. As Kid picks himself up 3-second time penalty, that probably solidifies him starting P16, only ahead of Wildcat and Beatty. Beatty, who had a miserable evening, just counting down the final couple of laps now until the sprint race ends and the Grand Prix can start. Iwatts right now doesn't have the pace to sit with the front guys. Does he perhaps have any damage from a previous incident? No, it's a full front wing on that Red Bull. Doesn't quite have the pace to run along with the rest of them at the moment. Starting on hard tyres as well feels like a bit of a mistake. It's medium tyre runners that are doing the best, apart from Squidge 2017, but he is the reigning champion, so he's exempt from that kind of evaluation. So then the championship P1 and P2 finishes from last year and the current, sorry, not from last year, from the before last year if I'm mistaken. And the current P1 and P2 in the championship right now battling away with each other as Ray's done something wrong for Ascari surely. That is going to allow Tess to fly by on the straight going towards the Parabolica. However, will Tess have attacking DRS or defensive DRS, I guess you call it, from Mackers? Now the Ray's going to want to repass. Here we go then through the Parabolica, and Ray's coming straight back after Red Bull, who doesn't get the rear wing open, and that could leave Tess very, very exposed to even Matty coming up from behind. Maybe Matty doesn't quite get the straight line speed, but I'm sure Ray's going to absolutely park it through turn 1, and that's a switchback from Matty Adams. Say one to the highlight reels. That was brilliant. And the McLarens are up to P6 and P7. Tess moves down to 8th as Ray gives Matty a friendly little wave by in his queue. I think did they make contact there, the two McLarens, or was it just a big lockup? As Matty might try to have a go at Mackers before the end of this race, but 1.9 seconds in, slightly over a lap, that's going to be difficult. Talking about what else is going to be difficult is Iwatts' afternoon after that freezing time penalty. However, now he's losing significantly less positions than he was just a couple of laps ago with the little battle that has set Matty back about 2 seconds from Mackers. Squidge has run away by 3.3 seconds over Noah, and I believe those hard tyres now have finally started working. Noah now is going to be in a little bit of trouble as it's the last time we're going across the start-finish line before the end of the race. And can Holman do something on Noah on this final go? Red lights flashing on the Aston Martin. That's closing speed if I've ever seen it. Holman blasts past the Aston Martin and moves up into P2. Iwatts can't do anything less than follow through in 4th on the circuit at the moment. Max is going to be claiming that position on penalties unless he does something to screw it up. Here comes Noah on the Curva Grande. He's going to send one down the inside of Holman. He kind of needs to if he wants that P2 in the race in the start place on the starting row of the grid. But no, Noah stays in P3. So this will be a little battle to follow for a couple of more corners through the leftmost stand. Noah right on the chuff of Holman. And how is this going to play out? Final DRS zone, but it's not usually an overtaking slot down into Ascari. Noah with a bit of closing speed though, using everything he can. Can he maybe get alongside into Ascari? Yes, he can. But he can't keep that car control. It's not enough control from Noah. It's not enough control from Holman. It might be investigated after the race, but right now I think Holman has just gone hold of that position, and Noah's going to come home P3 on the grid. Squidge wins the Italian Grand Prix sprint for Ferrari. Meanwhile, Holman makes it a Ferrari-powered 1-2, and Iwatts comes home to actually finish ahead of Noah on the road. But it doesn't matter. Noah P3, Mac is P4, Matty in P5, followed by Iwatts in P6, damage limitation, and he did so successfully. Ray in P7, followed by Tess in 8th, Luna outside the points in 9th, and Wilco in 10th. But what a race in the end from Squidge 2017, winning by 6.6 seconds, almost a second per lap in the end from Squidge, and a lot of overtaking to be done as well. Most overtakes out of anyone, and he saw him with the race win. Holman in second, followed by Noah, Mackers, Matty, Iwatts, Ray, and Tess is your points finishers. Luna just outside in 9th, and Wilco in 10th. Down the grid, we have Octave Wigan, who had a decent sprint, followed by Lucas, Darren Style, SSR Halo, then a couple of other people before that, before the game very, very rudely just decided to teleport away my race result, so we thank the game very much for that. But then there we can see Lucas Hall in 13th, Darren Style in 14th, followed by Halo, Kit, ABT, and Wildcat. DNF through that second chicane. I'm very curious as to what happened on that occasion. Fastest lap goes to Squidge, and wasn't any question in it at all. 3 times faster than the second fastest lap. So then, now we have the starting grid for the Grand Prix. So we'll be back in a few minutes. It's going to be about a 10-minute break for us to set up the new lobby. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back in not too long for the Italian Grand Prix. Alright then, we are back and getting ready for the Italian Grand Prix of New Era, where it is very, very overcast in terms of the track conditions at a venue that does promote close racing. We've seen that before. We are getting ready for the Italian Grand Prix event. 27 laps worth of racing action is coming up. We're just going to wait a minute or two, give everyone a chance to put their setups on and get themselves ready. It's going to be one of the quickest races of the F1 calendar. This it's a very, very quick one, especially if, without the appearance of a safety car. It is a race that absolutely flies by. So we'll wait and see what the result of everything is. What we do know is that Squidge is the driver with the significant advantage, making the most out of the sprint race. He is starting on pole position for the Grand Prix alongside Holman, Noah, and in P4 it was Mackis in the end, I believe it was, followed by Matty and Iwat. So it's a very, very close sprint movement here and there, but kudos to Squidge 2017 making up 6 positions to take the win of the Grand Prix, or sorry, of the sprint race. Very, very impressive performance indeed. So then, we're just hanging on for a little bit of time. Meanwhile, we're waiting, we're going to go over the Drivers' and Constructors' Championship together real quick. As you can see up on your screen now, hopefully, if everything's working correctly, there it is. It's Tess on 217 points out front to Matty, Adam and Squidge on 168. So a lot of points separate the top 3 now. Then we have Luna after a massive week last time out on 81 points ahead of Ray and Noah, who are tied on 75. Mac is on 65, followed by Iwatts on 61. Djokovic on 53, who is not racing right now due to technical issues. Hopefully he'll be back next week. Holman is P10. As for the Constructors' Championship, Red Bull are leading the charge by about 30 odd points from McLaren and about 70 odd points from Ferrari. Aston Martin not involved in the Constructors' Championship battle, but they are comfortably ahead of Alpine and Sauber at the moment in 4th place. Hassan Williams tied on points, only separated by when those points were scored and begins points haul of the season. So then I can confirm that we are ready to go racing once again. So we'll be going in about 30 seconds time for the Italian Grand Prix. Very, very fast circuit this. Only circuit that rivals this in speed is Saudi Arabia, however this is even faster. But it mainly goes straight. Quite a narrow circuit though. Overtaking not too easy, at least in real life. On the game though, with that DRS, relatively simple by the look of things. So then here we go, for the formation lap, we have Squidge out front from Holman and Noah. Noah starting on a medium tire. Everyone starting on a medium tire by the look of things. We're going to have a little look at that. And medium tires for the top 7. Then we have hard tires for Tess and Luna. More medium tires for Mr. Wilco and Tiger Octave. Then it's hard. It's all the way down to Wildcat. It's doing something different. Just trying to go a bit more aggressive on those mediums. So as for strategy, could be a 1-stop, could be a 2-stop. I'm a little bit unsure about this. Tire wear seems relatively high every now and again. It's going to be difficult to make a prediction as to what kind of strategy we're going to be seeing around here. But predicted 2-stop strategy from the game. It's a hard medium according to certain outlets that we're seeing. Very, very aggressive, weird strategy. A very passive strategy. Aggressive passive. That's a combination of words you didn't think you'd hear today. As Squidge then leads this formation lap from Holman and Noah. Squidge, who got away very, very well last time up, made up decisions instantly. Now is he going to be able to replicate that start from the lead of the field? Crucially, we're looking at the battle between the McLarens and the Red Bulls as well for the Constructors' Championship. Ferrari needs Kit to start picking up solid points if they want anything with that battle to do. Off Squidge to find peak last season form and start shutting down races in their entirety. But he needs to do a lot of that in order to catch up, and by this point in the season as well, we're now well into the second half. I think Kit needs to start picking up more points than he's able to for Ferrari to have a Constructors' Championship challenge as well. That could be between McLaren and Red Bull. However, the battle for this race is what we're focusing on right now. Right now, that is Squidge versus Ullman versus Noah. How quickly can Matty and Tess find themselves on the scene? We shall wait and see. But the Italian Grand Prix is coming right up then, as we have 5 red lights. And his lights on the way we go, and it's a very good start from Squidge 2017. Covers Holman right off. Holman doesn't have a chance on him really on that initial launch phase. Noah doesn't have a chance on Holman either. Matty though has had a very good getaway. Up 1, up 2 positions already, up into P3. Past Noah, there's a, sorry, that was an Alpine cutting the first corner. Need to let a couple of positions go potentially. Luna is past Ray and Tess up to P7. However, was those valid overtakes, or does she need to cede positions? Only she will know that. The situation was going into the corner. I'm sure if any foul doing has been done, will be investigated after the race. Matty though with the best start out of anyone, up 2 positions out of Sharp, and Kit up 3 positions as well. Very good getaway. Mac is not the getaway he would have been hoping for. Down 2 positions. Worst start alongside with Darren Style, who's down 3. Right now, it's hurry up time for Matty Adam to get by Holman. Meanwhile, this is going on. Tess has lost the position at the back. He is currently sitting down in 9th, behind Rain, behind Luna, and behind Mackers and Iwatts. His teammate who run along in P5. So then it's advantage McLaren right now in the Constructors' Championship fight, on the Constructors' standings. Still falls to Red Bull and needs a big swing for that to change this afternoon. Pullman right on the very back of Squidge 2017 coming into the first turn. As yellow flags emerge then, is that stuff going through turn 1? I believe it might be a Ray who has gotten tangled up with something quite severe by the look of things with what has gone on for Ray there, who has, I believe, cut the first corner in its entirety. Wildcat's picked up a new front wing. Wildcat not having the best of evening so far, I'm afraid. But what just went on for Ray? I'm very curious too. Whole front wing and everything. Just very weird line. very weird line. Very weird approach to the corner in general, and that has placed Ray out of Tess's way, which I'm sure the Red Bull driver is very thankful about. It's also pushed Ray up, Tess up into P8 in the race. Luna's round the back of Mackers, who's round the back of Iwatts. Now it's going to get interesting. With a bit of DRS then, Mackers is having no problems at all getting by Iwatts. Is Luna going to make a little attempt as well, round the outside into turn 1? As is lowered right down in the apex. I don't think Iwatts was anticipating that. A little bit of love touch between the two, and now Tess is going to be able to get through as well. Meanwhile, Matty has gone through on Holman, is now sitting 8 tenths behind the race leader with 24 laps to go. So he got that move done early. 3 positions up on the start of the Grand Prix, Matty Adams. So he's had a good race start. Right now, though, Tess needs to get his head down and start overtaking cars relatively quickly before the front guys get away too much from him. It's going to be difficult to catch up at a circuit like this as well, where the DRS is ever so crucial. Tess is going to be able to pull a move on Luna? No, not quite. Might have just actually been able to pull that off had he wanted to, just backing out a little bit before he got the jump. So, your top 4, Squidge, Matty, Holman and Noah. 4 different drivers, 4 different teams. And 4 drivers fighting their own separate battle in the Drivers' and Constructors' Championship. Aston Martin and Sauber not too far away from each other. McLaren and Ferrari not too far away from each other. But Matty and Squidge identical on points at the moment. Right now, the way things are, Squidge moves into P2 in the Drivers' Championship. Matty back down into 3rd after a push at the lead of the championship a couple of weeks ago. After that, everything has gone Tess's way. He's been able to blast back up into the lead. SSR Halo versus Kit W41. Then is not going to be able to pull that move into the chicane. Kit takes a little bit of a weird line through that chicane and might have allowed Halo to pull a little move into the Lesmos. Better just wait for a DRS straight and go for the move on that occasion. However, SSR Halo with a downforce loss as well due to front wing damage. Wigan going to be right on that Mercedes, you would imagine, in a lap or two. Especially around a corner like this as well, Ascari, where, yeah, you can just see the lack of downforce on Halo's car. And that is going to be even more predominant through Parabolica. We're not going to be able to do too much. He'll be fast in a straight line, though, I'll give him that. So he moves around a little bit on Kit immediately. So here we go then, Halo on Kit, round 2 and into the first corner. You would imagine that Halo's going to have this one covered, just putting a little bit of a squeeze on Kit, who's able to break that much later with that full front wing. And Kit, that is not ideal. Gotta leave more room there, gotta leave significantly more room there. And that has cost Halo a good couple of places. It's a tricky corner that to do battle around turn 1 and turn 2, but room must be given, as Matty Adams actually taken the lead of the Grand Prix off Squidge 2017 when we were watching that going on. As Kit's now had an issue, found himself down P16 behind Darren and Ray. A Squidge on Matty Adam this time around. McLaren versus Ferrari at Monza with a retro livery on the Ferrari. Can't get any closer to the 70s than this. Would have been so fun to be able to do classic car league racing if we had a full season worth of cars to actually do it in. That could be quite something. Here we go then, Squidge down inside of Matty Adam into the chicane. You would imagine it's going to be a little bit more cautious, but Squidge with the advantage all the way around. Matty's not going to be able to fight it too hard. The question for these two now, how much do you fight and how much do you just try to get away from Tess, who is not really coming up behind him at a rate of knots right now. He's sitting a comfortable 6 tenths behind Mackers. Not really pushing for the overtake right now by the look of things, and just playing it slightly conservative maybe. He is on those hard tires, so I'll want to carry those a little bit into this Grand Prix. Both Squidge and Matty started on medium tires, so it's going to be split strategies between the championship contenders regardless. Say BT Van running within the points. He's had a very good start as well, to be fair, up 7 positions in the opening 6 laps. Now behind Tiger Octave, who had a very, very good Australian Grand Prix. After that's just struggled a little bit. Meanwhile, Luna's been picking up the big points for Alpine on a consistent basis now as well. Is Tiger Octave going to be able to keep that run of form for Alpine going and just find his previous form, as Noah goes into pit lane, first one to do so for tire related reasons? Here goes ABT on Tiger Octave, and at that point there's no discussion about it, and ABT up into what is provisionally what is currently P8 will turn into P9 once everything with the pit stops have been sorted out. Noah right now is the driver out of position, then he's coming out in P15 in a bit of clear room to start pushing on those. Is that a new set of hard tires? Yes, it is. Hard tires then for Noah, as APT is going to pass Mr. Wilco as well for the Cavagrande, and APT is a driver on the charge right now. Now though, 4.2 seconds up to Luna ahead, but let's see what kind of pace he'll be able to carry on that hard tire. We're going to get the tire graph up instead. Matty Adam leads this race from Squidge and Holman, 3.3 seconds behind. Then you have Tess now in P4, starting to make moves and starting to just itch himself ever closer. So when is the optimum time for Matty and Squidge to pit? Not this lap for Matty, not this lap for Squidge either. Holman pits though, and that could maybe rendition an undercut. That's going to see him involved in this little battle. Will we have potential rain though as well, is what I'm curious of. It's overcast conditions. Don't think it looks prime for any rain for the time being. If anyone has information on that, then please let me know. It'd be lovely information to have. As Luna at the moment in P5, followed by BT in 6th. And Wilco in 7th, chasing that Racing Bulls down. Both the Hasses are running good races so far as well, running currently inside the points. Obviously, when we get rid of a couple of drivers who've already pitted, they'll be just outside the points. But Wing and Darren running along nicely in formation then. That might be crucial to keeping Ray behind for a couple of extra laps here. Ray had some sort of mistake, we don't know what happened through turn 1 and 2. Relatively early on in the race, I think it was lap 3 or 4, something of the sort. And he is in damage limitation mode. I don't get that though, he hasn't made a pit stop yet. He's on 7 lap all medium tires off on lap 9 of the Grand Prix. I would love to understand that math. I would love to understand the mathematics of how that works. Unfortunately, I don't. Matty, Adam and Squidge 2017 then. Switch decisions every single lap. Now 4.3 seconds ahead of Tess, and worth considering how much you want to fight each other, because the Red Bull is soon going to be involved in that little battle if they're not careful. Mackers is in P4 and he's got Luna for company right now in the Alpine. Alpine who's going to look similarly brilliant next season out as well, so if anyone wants dibs on it, then please let me know. And we have a virtual safety car through Darren Style, I believe, who's had an issue. Is that through... Oh, I'd love to see the despawned car where it's placed. I think it's somewhere between the chicane and the first Lesmo. See when Tiger Rock Death goes by. Yeah, it's coming out of the first... Oh, sorry, the second chicane. And that is Darren Style out of this race. You would imagine a solo incident there. As there we go, DRS has been enabled. And that has gotten Matty and Squidge to go into the pit lane. However, the safety car, or the virtual safety car, ended just as they were coming in. And that right now then allows Tess to take the lead of this Grand Prix. The disfortune continues for Darren Style this season, who is not having a good run of races at all. And right now he is out of the Italian Grand Prix. Right now he is out of the Italian Grand Prix as well. What I'm curious of, did Matty and Squidge gain any sort of an advantage at all through pitting there, or did it just send Squidge into the back of Noah potentially to cost him a little bit of time? To Matty's already pulled away by 2 seconds on the Ferrari. That's not quite ideal. Halo doesn't put up even a whimper of a fight. Matty Adams, see if he puts up a little bit more of a fight when Squidge comes knocking in a couple of moments time. I think Squidge is going to be right on him coming out of the second Lesmo. So we'll see here as our Halo decides to just... That's smart racing from Halo, that. just deploying a bit of battery instead of, or sorry, just harvesting a little bit of battery. So deploying when you got files, a car coming up behind, just take advantage of the situation. You don't really want to fight Squidge coming up behind him, so just start gaining a little bit of battery instead. Luna is up in a P2 with that move on Macker's 97 right now. Overtaking is looking too easy today almost. The same problem last time we ran Italy, however that was Imola that has now been banished from NEF1 for being very, very bad for racing. And bad for racing means there was nothing you could do if anyone wanted to overtake you. There's no point in defending it, and Kit has had an issue coming through a scary chicane. And we might be lucky that's not a safety car, however the front wing end plates on the Ferrari is gone. Well, at least it'll be a balanced Ferrari event, at least it'll be very, very quick in a straight line. The problem is a lack of downforce around this circle when you already have none. It's going to severely affect your car handling, and that is Kit straight into the pit lane at the end of what is for him lap 10. That might just see him lapped by Tess and Luna as well. This little battle then, I thought it was going to end prematurely by the interference of Noah real fast there, but Squidge on the hard tyres have been able to catch Matty right back up and now running within formation. As there we go, Kit has been lapped now by Tess. As Luna and Mackes goes into the pit lane, a BT jumps into P2 on the field. He'd love a safety car right now, wouldn't he? A 33 BT. The question is, how long can he take that one set of hard tyres? And this might just put a little pressure. If he can get those tyres to about lap 15, you would imagine 12 laps on a set of medium tyres to the end. Matty and Squidge, they'll be having to bring those 17 laps into the Grand Prix. It's a long way to go on a set of hard tyres, but it might just be what they have to do. They'll have an undercut on Tess. They'll have significantly fresher tyres for the remainder of the race. It's going to be interesting here. Matty and Squidge catching Tess by a relatively high amount every single lap now. Keep an eye on it. It's 14.2 seconds right now, that little gap. No safety car yet. Appearance of a virtual safety car with Darren's DNF them. And no full safety cars for quite a bit of time in New Era, if I'm not mistaken. It's been a few races. Services of Ben Mylander that was very, very necessary last season especially are less required here today. Tiger Octave then on the hunt for Mr. Wilco 99 in the Sauber. Two are relatively closely compared in the Construction Championship as well. You would imagine then it's Tiger Octave just needs to step it up a little bit in order to get them ahead of Sauber if they aren't already ahead of Sauber. If so, to just extend the advantage a little bit. I don't want to construct this quite in my head, just focusing on the racing. But then Mr. Wilco, a little bit of a weird line through turn 1, might have actually allowed Tiger Octave a chance to make a move around the outside of turn 2. Couldn't quite, you just saw him looking for it ever so slightly, but Mr. Wilco just had it covered in the end. I would imagine then it's going to go down to turn 1 on the next lap before Octave's going to make a move. And as for Ray, his race just completely stagnated behind Wigan and, between Wigan and Lucas Hall as well. Down in P14, not really able to do anything right now in this Grand Prix. So it's a tricky outlook for Ray to be in. Can't get by really, can't do anything right now, but just sit behind. Only one 3-second time penalty right now, that belongs to Lucas Hall in P15. As for Matty Adam, he's just going to pass Squidge 2017 again. It's the battle that keeps changing on so much that we've lost interest. As Holman has blasted past Noah into turn 1, late move on the brakes. as Luna and Marcus go side by side again, the two winners of the previous sprints in NEF1, Singapore and Yas Marina Mystery Grand Prix. The Marina Bay and the Yas Marina sprint winners doing battle here alongside the Cava Grande in Italy. As the clouds are just starting to disappear ever so slightly, starting to see a clearer patch show. As Wilco and Octave then continue to do battle. I don't know what happened with Octave there on the straight heading into the Ascari. Mr. Wilco absolutely flew past him. But then it's Alpine versus Sauber. Our Halo, I thought he might have made a mistake coming out of Parabolica. He's coming into the pit lane instead. A decent time for Halo to pit then. 12 laps remaining, and it's those 12 laps that I spoke about that Tess and BT needs to make this strategy work. So you expect to see those two in at the end of this lap. As to where they'll be when they come out, well, they'll be significantly behind D-Slot, but with an ample opportunity to catch up. I believe they'll come out just ahead of Luna potentially, which they really need to do. They've got Noah and Holman to overtake. ABT's placed himself in a very good position. He's 7 seconds back on Test, mind you. But he is fighting for very, very good points here today, if those medium tires work out to the end. So then we're expecting Tess in at the end of this lap. That's not happening. Is that potentially an opportunity for AB to do something a bit different and go into the pit lane? No, he's staying out as well. 5-lap-old hard tires, now 6-lap-old hard tires for Squidge and Matty. They just keep swapping place with each other now on straight. Relatively straightforward stuff. It's the kind of racing we absolutely despise. As we're following along the battle with Ray and Wiggins at the moment. Ray in P12 maybe in with a chance at points here, but it's going to be difficult for him. Still a little bit of ground to make up and a couple of positions to make up as well. He's coming up to a small train now that is headed by iWatts. That is Octave, Wilco and iWatts ahead. Could Mackers be involved in that as well? No, he's significantly ahead. So right now Ray's looking at a maximum P9 potentially here if he can make those overtakes. Making up the ground to Mackers. At 6.5 seconds in the allotted time left, about 10 laps. It's going to be difficult. So then, Tess goes into the pit lane. You would imagine BT will do the same. Means Matty is going to inherit the lead of this Grand Prix, and so is Squidge. Because I believe he's just about to go past Matty again. No, he doesn't. Okay. So now that they're past, this status quo of racing just changed a little bit. Where does Tess come out? He comes out behind Luna as well. And significantly so. 3.8 seconds. And now he's got Luna, Mackers, Holman, Noah, Squidge and Matty to overtake if he wants the win of this race. And all of that in 10 laps time. Meanwhile, he's going to make up over 10 seconds on leaders. I think Tess is realistically looking for best position of third here. Where's AB to come out though? That's a bit more interesting. P11 just behind Ray, Octave and Wilco. All of them are on relatively worn down hard tires. They're 9 laps old, contra 8 laps old for Wilco and Ray. So AB is actually in quite a curious position right now. As for Tess, he's just got chasing to do before he even catches the back of Luna. When he does, he's got to keep those medium tires in good shape as well. for the duration of this race. If he doesn't, then he's got problems. What's going on in Sector 2? Yellow flag. I believe that was Iwatts who had a problem on new hard tyres. Iwatts who's just fallen out of it a little bit by the look of things now. Down in P14 is Noah Holman actually coming to the pit lane. Maybe they needed to. 20 laps on a set of hard tyres. That's a long stint. So that's going to make Tess's job just that bit easier. Where does that put them in comparison to BT though, who's on new medium tyres? Puts them significantly behind. This strategy right now for a BT is working a charm. Say if Mr. Wilco has to do the same thing, he's on 9-lap old tyres. Squidge and Matty surely got to be locked into the end of this race now and just infighting for the win of this Grand Prix. The Italian Grand Prix is up for grabs, and the final podium place might just be up for grabs between Mac's Luna and absolutely Tess involved in that battle as well. Got 3 seconds up to join battle. As for Mr. Wilco, he's going to try to stick it out on these tyres. If not, then a Beetle and inherit P6 on the road. As we have yellow flags going through. Is that due to blue flag conditions potentially for Kit W41, who's having a torrid time at the moment? As Matty's gone by the Ferrari once again into turn 1 and is turning into the most boring battle of the century so far. And oh my god, I hope that the next generation of car race well, at least on the game. I don't think they will in real life, but that's the FOM's problem, isn't it? As Luna has made it past Mackers for P3, then all of this infighting just means that it gets a bit easier for Tess every single lap to start closing in. So Luna have had 1 podium in the NEF1 so far in Grand Prix conditions. That's a race win last week out. Lucas Holt, 10-second time, speeding in the pit lane. Wouldn't it be something if Luna was able to make it 2 podiums in a row? A win last time out in the 3rd place here in Italy as well. Marquez is going to want to make it a 2nd or 3rd podium this season, isn't it, for Marquez? 1 in Australia, if I'm not mistaken, and 1 in Singapore as well, alongside with the sprint win. It's quite decorated Marquez so far this season. Pullman, who started on the front row this race, unfortunately hasn't had the best of Grand Prix. He's sitting down in P10 behind Noah as well, who's started alongside, fair enough. But potentially out-strategized thoroughly then by a couple of others. So then, Matty and Squidge still 12 seconds ahead of Luna and Tess, closing in that gap, but he's not closing it in enough. Is Tess somehow going to be able to get involved in that battle? If so, Squidge and Matty need to massively hold each other up. But it is red lights flashing on both the cars, more corners than others. And it's all, you would imagine, going to come to a conclusion on the final lap. Lap 27 out of 27 into the first corner. That is where the race is going to be decided. I think both Squidge and Matty already have picked up on the fact. Tess has now been able to get up to the back of Mackers and Luna and has gone involved in this battle. We'll see if he can make short work of it to claim that P3, or if the DRS train just proves a little bit annoying. He's down the inside of Mackers immediately into the parabolic guy. He forces Mackers a bit wide. That's a very, very good driving test. Just let Mackers lose a little bit of grip. And there goes Luna into the pit lane and instantly once that happens. And that was well earlier than I was expecting. Or I wasn't expecting Luna to be one of the drivers that put it at all. I would imagine another 6 laps on those hard tyres. Surely that would have worked, but no. Medium tyres going on for Luna, sacrificing race position for a what could be, and I'm not sure it's a good move at all. We'll see, maybe Marcus stays out. He's 7 seconds ahead of BT. What I think Luna's done is just give up a P4 or P5 there. And that's the problem with Luna right now, is the strategy call's not always there. The racecraft is significantly improved from earlier on this season. But the strategy call's not always ideal, and I think that's one of those calls that she'll just come to regret in a few minutes. It's been a very, very quick event this. The clock has just struck an hour past since we started the event. We're 65 minutes into it, and we're already into the final couple of laps. 6 laps to go in this race. But it goes by very, very quick. As here goes the Ferrari past the McLaren once again. And this is going to go on like this until the final lap. In 1 lap or 2, we're going to start seeing them jostle for P2 probably. And whoever can keep a hold of that. So then Luna's ended up in nowhere's land with no man's land with that strategy call. 5 seconds to both the cars ahead and behind, and that might be the end of Luna's race in P9. I don't think she's going to be able to do anything from there. Tez is not going to be able to do anything from his current position. He's 12 seconds down with 5 laps to go. Unless anything drastic happens, like a very, very late safety car, in which case you would imagine Squidge and Matty might just have enough time to be able to nib into the pits for a set of softs to the end. But as for the time penalties, Lucas Hull, Wildcat and Kit right now the only ones with penalties. Lucas Hull, the 10-second time penalty from before for speeding in the pit lane. So then Matty, currently the driver in the lead of the Grand Prix, which is going to be relatively happy with the order of things right now. We have 3.5 laps to go. Sorry, 4.5 laps to go. There we go then, into Ascari, and Squidge is just holding back, not wanting to overtake the McLaren at the moment. Opting to do it in the safest manner possible until we get to the end of the race. Will Noah be able to do anything on Mr. Wilco? Right now, I must say kudos to ABT moving towards his best points finish of the year. It's been a very, very good race from ABT after a very, very bad sprint race. I saw him in virtually last. At the end of it now, he's recovered up at P5. Looks like he's going to be holding on to that as well. Mr. Wilco from behind, not a threat at the moment. He's just running in a race of his own. For the last couple of laps, 4 laps to go. As no on Mr. Wilco then, the inside of the Parabolica is a very, very interesting line to take. It turns into the inside into the next corner as well. Noah's just able to push ahead through the aid of a bit of DRS and battery usage, and Mr. Wilco down to P7 ahead of his teammate in 8th place. 5 seconds behind are the 2 Sabres, and then Luna in P9 could be up where Mac is at the moment in P4 or P5, still significantly ahead of ABT. I think we can safely establish now then, after a couple of laps, that Luna made the wrong call to come into the pits for new tyres, unless those hard tyres were absolutely shredded. So then, this is the battle we are now paying attention to. Squidge versus Matty Adam. Matty sitting in P2. Is this situation now that he wants to be in going into lap 26 or 27? We'll wait 2 more laps before we get this battle underway for real. as Matty then gets past, but it was one of the least inspired overtakes I've ever seen. Squidge must not have done too much to defend that one at all. Matty almost looked forced to go by the Ferrari in order to not lose too much time behind. Meanwhile, I'm sure Tess is screaming for them to lose about 5 seconds a lap, battling each other doing this. Afraid that is not going to happen. It's going to be P3 for Tess on a day like this, unless his medium tires actually fall off clip, because Marcus is still there. So kudos to Marcus for doing the job he is currently doing as well. On those hard tires, mediums, relatively quick fall off, but we are now following full time the battle between Matty, Adam and Squidge as well, with slightly more than 2 laps to go. And you would be interested to see who is going to be leading coming out of the second turn in about 30 seconds time. That's going to be very, very interesting. How aggressive is Matty going to defend now, or is he just going to let Squidge go? The red light's flashing immediately. Squidge is going for the move. He's not using any battery to do so, and Matty now in P2 with 1 time left to go. At this very straight, is it going to be Squidge or is it going to be Matty for the win of this race? Matty now has got to do the job of sticking close enough to Squidge. Squidge has got to do the job of conserving enough battery to defend away from Matty whilst pushing significantly through this lap to try to create a little bit of a gap. It's a hard balancing act that he's going to have to get right, because it's advantage Matty with how powerful the DRS has been. We're a lap and a half from the finish to what has been a very, very interesting but strategic Italian Grand Prix that hasn't given us too much in terms of wheel-to-wheel action, but has given us a lot of overtakes for the lead, I'll give you that. So here then, through the Ascari chicane, and Matty now starting to go a little bit more aggressive. Squidge just red light indicating and showing that he is charging up those batteries as we're coming around the Parabolica for the final time, or sorry, for the second to last time this race, and that is a good healthy advantage coming out of Parabolica for Squidge. Is Matty going to be able to get anywhere near the Ferrari come the braking zone? There's a car on the inside who's just going to interrupt everything a little bit, and Squidge holds the inside, holds the middle of the circuit this time round. However, doesn't quite keep it clean inside, or sorry, coming out of the second corner, and now through the Cavagrande. Matty's got to go for it, heading into the next DRS zone, which is the Ascari chicane. It'll be his last chance at a potential overtake, which means he's got to be pitch perfect through the Lesmos. Difficult to follow through those particular corners. Squidge just looks like he's gone a little bit too wide there. Matty's kept it nice and tidy. Second Lesmo is going to be crucial. Both follow nearly an identical line, and Matty now is going to do everything he can into Ascari to get the win of this race. He's not really. The door opens up on the outside. Is Matty going to be able to commit to it? The two touch, and surely that is race over. Matty, he could have deployed a little bit more potentially and tried to get further alongside. The door opened up from Squidge on the outside. The red lights flashing on the Ferrari once again, but with 1 corner to go, it is not going to be enough. Squidge will win the Italian Grand Prix for the Scuderia. First win in a little bit, followed by Matty Adam once again in P2. The story of his season, I'm sure he'll feel like it. Marcus has been able to pass Tess for the podium position. I'm sad we missed out on that, but that is brilliant from Marcus. Tess's championship just takes a little bit of a hit with that effort. As for the Constructors' Championship, it's actually quite big. A33 BT with a brilliant race, his best race of the season so far. Up from P, where did he start? He started in 17th place, up 12 positions in the Driver of the Day performance. Noah finishes in 6th, followed by Mr. Wilco and Holman, P7 and 8, double points. Luna, she could have been battling for the podium with Marcus and Tess. Instead, it is P9 for the Alpine and 1 point for Iwat, who got the fastest lap point in the end. Belongs to Kit for his first point of the season, I believe, for Kit W41. So we say congratulations to him. What an end to the race. Matty apparently ran out of deployment through the back straight, through the Lesmos as well. That's why he couldn't quite get the move done. The door opened up on the outside, but slight contact just set Matty back a little bit, and then it was game over. Squidge 2017 wins the Italian Grand Prix, and he does it in very, very good fashion. We also got to say congratulations to yet another podium this season. Mackers 97 in the Mercedes is turning into one of the top drivers in this league this season, and he's doing it very, very solidly. And that iconic Ferrari podium as well. The iconic venue, the iconic look of the podium over the circuit in Monza, and it is scarlet red on top of it. Squidge wins yet another Grand Prix in New Era. And is that maybe the start of a comeback in the Drivers' Championship? He's got work cut out for him, but it is not over yet. It's not over until the fat lady sings, or until the fat commentator says so. And I can confirm that is the last sprint of the season as well. I believe Tess was thanking the Lords by that fact as well. A sprint format that has been delivering solid racing over the season. I'd love to hear you viewers' opinion on it. Have you enjoyed the sprints? Have you thoroughly hated them? What is your opinion on them? Please let us know. But that has been an Italian Grand Prix to remember, but also one of the quickest NEF1 events that we've done, especially this season. Next week, though, is going to be a very, very different outlook of a race. We are going to Hungary in the Hungaroring for round 12 of the championship, and after that we move to Belgium and Austria. We are in the middle of the European stage of the season, and the championship now is in its deciding couple of weeks. So you don't want to miss out on that. Until then, we will see you in a week's time at the Hungaroring for round 12 of the championship. Thank you very much for watching this week. Stay safe, everyone. Have a good one, and peace out. We will see you next Monday night, once again, when NEF1 returns.